You're also watching Dateline Lagos, and moving on the program, experts on gender-based issues have raised concerns over the increasing rates of sexual and domestic violence in Nigeria, despite efforts by governments and relevant agencies in dealing with this social issue. Well, leaders and experienced women in the public and private sector shared experiences about issues of gender inequalities. They suggested modern strategies for safeguarding women and how best to offer help and support for victims of sexual and domestic violence.
Domestic violence is a violation of fundamental human rights, and women are largely victims of this social ill. Common forms of violence against women are rape, molestation, wife beating, leading to physical body damage, emotional and psychological trauma. This social abnormality is widespread and shows no signs of lessening in Nigeria. The Clean Foundation reports that 1 in every 3 women admits to being a victim of domestic violence. In its 2017 ministerial report, the Lagos State Ministry of Women Affairs says it has handled a total of 700 matters of domestic violence in 2006, with 455 of them amicably resolved, 200 referred to other agencies, while 55 were disengaged because of family interventions. Despite efforts by the Lagos State government and relevant organizations, there is still a continuous push for tougher response and support against domestic violence.
At this point in time,
it is on this premise that the 2017 WAPA Connect conference is converged. Organized by the Lagos Ministry of Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, the conference is designed to raise awareness on the impacts of domestic violence and other gender-based issues. The attendance covers women from various professions. The Lagos State Commissioner for Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Mrs. Lola Kande, sets the ball rolling by explaining the direction and objectives of the conference.
Through this conference, we intend to further inform the public about the lack of gender inequality in the private and public sphere. This will help us to draw more attention to the implicit assumption that controlling women's behavior through threats and the use of violence is unacceptable, and questions the fundamental indices that generate acts of violence, especially against women. Until now, what has been less talked about is the economic cost to society of these horrific and unacceptable levels of violence, which include lost earnings, lost revenue, lost tax revenue, etc. When these losses to gender-based violence increase, growth cannot be maximized or harvested. We must stay united, and that's why the theme of this conference, Fostering Domestic Harmony, is apt when one considers increased prevalence of suicide cases and other behavioral vices.
To actualize the objective of the conference, a panel of discussion comprising professionals and experts in different vocations shared their experiences and thoughts on modern ways of preventing and dealing with domestic violence and other gender issues. Discussions focus on fostering domestic harmony through multi-perspective analysis while encouraging women for economic empowerment.
Traffickers don't go on their own, they pay for it. And the tragedy is that families support their children to be trafficked. The 14-year-old girl was taken there by her mother. And the mother said to her, "Look at that one, she brought in a jeep. That one has bought a house, you two should do the same thing." I think as mothers, it's unacceptable, it's unethical. In the last 3 months, the Buhari administration has been able to bring back at least 2,500 girls that have been trafficked to various parts of the world.
We need to look at interventions that are effective. We need to look at, first of all, the self-defense classes that are carried out, that women can actually attend, that would empower them and make them powerful. We need to look at education. We need to look at the education of not just the boy child, who, as far as he's concerned, is socially acceptable to hit a woman.
Women should not be heard, and women are not equal to men. But a woman and a man before God are equals.
you need to be able to earn a living, because a lot of women who are in hardship, it is because they don't know how to survive should they separate, right? But the moment you have your job, you have your life, you know at least you can feed yourself, take care of your children, you will be able to activate your humanity to separate. Before you marry, I think one of the easiest ways we can stop this, let's socialize our girls to ask the right question. Not just ask the right question before they marry, they must document the response from the man, so that when he violates it, they can activate it.
The discussant suggests that less dependability by women may be a better way of curbing gender inequality and domestic violence. But speaking against all forms of violence is a more formidable approach.
A woman came to me who was being beaten by her husband. So we said we're going to link her up with the domestic and sexual violence response team in Lagos State. Then she sat me down to ask me some critical questions. So number one, if we report to domestic violence, we need to ask ourselves the question, who are these people that perpetrate domestic violence? Who are these people that are expected to report domestic violence? Number three, what measures have we put in place that when a person reports domestic violence, there's enough machinery on ground to provide social support for these people who are coming forward to speak up? I think those are fundamental issues that is important for us to look at. And until we look at those fundamental issues, it's going to be difficult for us to find a level playing ground for the enforcement of the law.
We need to go back to the family, and we need to start a tradition reorientation program. We need to change our mindsets. We need to revisit our tradition and our culture, because in our culture we believe that a woman should be subservient to a man.
The question then is, what steps has the Lagos State government taken to stamp out gender-based violence in the state?
The Ministry of Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation has made direct impact on the community through critical interventions and organized programs to end violence against women. Some of these actions include marital dispute mediations, forceful teen child marriage rescue and disruption, assistance with hospitalization of battered women, helping women with rehabilitation and reintegration back into their family homes, or assisting them with free transit homes. We gave referrals for different needs, e.g. medical needs, anger management services, counseling, and many more. The Lagos State government, through the Ministry of Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, trains women in skills using presently 17 functional skill acquisition centers spread over the 5 divisions of the state, that is Ikorodu, Badagry, Ikeja, Lagos Island, and Ekpe. These include short-term programs through our Department of Women Development and long-term programs through our skill acquisition development units. These skills include carpentry works, hairdressing, bead making, leather works and shoe making, adult literacy, hat making, to mention but a few.
I wish to reiterate that the state government will not relent in its effort to improve the fortunes of women in the state, irrespective of social, political, or religious affiliations.
The organizers of the conference are of the belief that information provided here will motivate all stakeholders to take concerted action towards eliminating all forms of gender violence and foster domestic harmony in the society.
That's it on the program this week. Thank you sincerely for watching. I'm Loretta Chiogo, and remember, stay out of trouble. Bye-bye.